several parts of the Lake Chad Basin still under the yoke of insecurity, instability, violence, and uncertainty as a result of terrorist activities in different parts of the countries in that zone. The African Union, the United Nations Development Program, and other stakeholders and partners are now stepping up stabilization efforts in that part of the African continent. And here in the Republic of Cameroon, we'll talk about the growing phenomenon of corruption gaining grounds in the Republic of Cameroon and scandals multiplying every day. In several parts of the Lake Chad Basin, where we have about 4 countries involved in or concerned with insecurity, terrorist activities, we still have the population who are under the yoke of terror. Many of them forced to flee their homes and seek refuge in safer areas, in areas like Turu in the Mayo-Chalaga Division, far north region of the Republic of Cameroon. Many inhabitants are now sleeping on mountain tops and on trees as a result of recurring incursions of Boko Haram terrorists from neighboring Nigeria. And this is the situation prevailing in several parts of the affected areas of the Lake Chad Basin, areas affected by the instability, the terrorist activities sweeping across that region. And of course, the United Nations Development Program, together with the African Union and other stakeholders and partners, are now stepping up efforts of stabilization. Now take a listen to Camille Kamaludin. He is the resident representative of the United Nations Development Program in Chad, and Dr. Gregor Scotton, Deputy Head of Division Stabilization in Countries and Regions at the German Federal Office. Details on the risk involved or prevailing in the Lake Chad Basin as a result of instability provoked by terrorist activities in the countries in that zone of the African continent, with our experts. Camille Kamaludin, resident representative of the United Nations Development Program in Chad, and Dr. Gregor Scotton, Deputy Head of Division Stabilization in Countries and Regions at the German Federal Office.
Always be risks. If you are in an area that have been dominated by the presence of bandits and terrorists and have suffered incessant attacks in the past, you always continue to live with one eye open when you sleep. And the fact that it's a real possibility that we could have setback, that's a risk which we have to continue to face. It's also a risk where you have young people that are not engaged. But if you continue to provide opportunities for them, then those risks will continue to lower until they cease. I wouldn't know what will happen tomorrow, but by training and by the work and by the analysis that we have done, it's always important to consolidate on progress. The only response to risks and to challenges in the Lake Chad area is to continue to improve on services that are provided through stabilization, but through other support windows.
We all know how difficult this is. We all know that stabilization is not a one-way road. It has risks. It has always setbacks. That's not only true for the Lake Chad region, that can be applied globally. So we have to work with problems and setbacks, and we have to be aware of the high risks.
And United Nations Development Program, UNDP, the African Union, and other stakeholders and partners are stepping up stabilization efforts in the Lake Chad Basin. And this is why they converged on Cameroon's economic update yesterday to discuss on how to keep on consolidating the achievements and striving to get more achievements in terms of peace, stability, and return to normalcy in the affected areas of the Lake Chad Basin. Details in this report compiled by Mala Glory.
Insecurity, stability, terror, and uncertainty still prevail in several parts of northeast Nigeria, far north Cameroon, Lac Province of Chad, and Diffa region Niger. The Lake Chad Basin Stability Index report of displacement tracking matrix reveals that the conflict affecting the Lake Chad Basin has displaced more than 3 million people as of May 2021. It is described as one of the worst humanitarian situations in the world, provoking widespread displacement and deep social, political, economic, and health crisis. However, stabilization experts highlight trends of stability.
We have seen improved security in the localities where we have the stabilization interventions. We've seen that the communities have become more stable, and they have opportunity to enjoy additional security provisions, presence, and patrols in the area.
Life is said to be gradually returning to normalcy in some areas where the African Union, the United Nations Development Programme, and other stakeholders are implementing strategies of Regional Stabilization Facility, RSF.
These have led them to feel more confident to continue to engage in their normal activities. We've seen children going back to schools, schools that have also been expanded and renovated and better equipped through the services provided under the stabilization program in the 4 countries of Cameroon, Chad, Niger, and Nigeria.
Business is also resuming in some affected areas of the 4 countries in the zone.
New markets, for example, in Gite, in Chad, Cash for Work, in Ngalamia, in Chad, and rural infrastructure in areas like Diffa, in Niger Republic, in Banki, in Nigeria, and in Amchire, in Cameroon.
It's worth it because we are also seeing successes, and especially if we can continue our partnership approach, our good coordination approach, I'm quite positive we will see even more positive results in the future.
Meeting in Douala, Cameroon, these stakeholders and partners find strategies to enhance and fast-track stabilization and lay the foundation for recovering long-term peace and development in the Lake Chad Basin. Meantime, the RSF now has to deal with challenges including getting more resources and caring for an increasing number of persons, some returning from captivity and others from where they brought refugee following violence in their communities.
Now to Botmakak in the central region of the Republic of Cameroon, where 2 students of terminal in the French subsystem of education have been sexually abused, allegedly by a man who promised to help them succeed in the baccalaureate examination. And the man is said to have invited them to his house, where he gave them some herbal mixtures to drink before carrying on with the act. And of course, they were rushed to hospital by their brother, who accompanied them to the said magician's house. Details in this report.
In their baccalaureate examination was the ultimate aim. They are 2 young girls of terminal of the French subsystem of education who went to a native doctor to seek help, but unfortunately got raped and lost consciousness.
Il a dit à ma copine là que comme l'esprit là.
He told my friend the spirit of destruction reigns in her family. Even if she writes her exams well, the spirit will always find a way to blind the markers so she can fail. He then asked us to bring some herbs which he mixed and gave us to apply on our body. which we did. Then he asked us to move closer to him. They only regained consciousness hours later in the Bodmakak Hospital, Nyongankele division of the Central Region. She came in an unconscious state, which we immediately began treatment on her. And with the authorities in place, the suspect was immediately arrested and taken to the gendarmerie. Security officials were immediately alerted thanks to the victim's brother, though, according to their father, the suspect tried bribing the parents to end the case. He asked if we could negotiate, if he can give me an amount of money. We said no. I personally said I can't accept such negotiations because I'm not sure my daughter will be healed again. She will be traumatized the rest of her life and might lose her suitor. The two victims are currently receiving treatment at the Bodmakak Hospital, while the suspect is in detention at the Bodmakak Gendarmerie Brigade for further questioning.
Several shops have been sealed in Lom in the Mongo Division, littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon, for illegal increase of prices of basic commodities on the market. The divisional officer of Mbanga, and not Lom, was on the field with price controllers to give warnings to those who are doing so, and of course to stop the illegal practice. Smanji can give a report.
A number of stores sealed in Banga, Mongo division of the littoral region. The stores were sealed by trade agents after they noticed that owners have been selling items out of the homologated prices by the government. This was during a joint operation carried out by agents of the Divisional Delegation of Trade, accompanied by the Divisional Officer of Mbanga. The outing of the DO and trade agent came at a time when inhabitants of Mbanga have been consistently crying about the increase of prices, particularly of building materials.
We noticed that despite the efforts and strategies put in place by the government through the Ministry of Trade to maintain prices, some economic operators or some actors in these sectors of the economy, they continue to sell above the prices put in place by the Ministry of Trade. For example, we noticed that as concerns construction materials, for example, a bag of cement, a bag of 32.2 cement, which was supposed to be sold at 4,800, the price homologated by this ministry, is sold in between 5,000 and 5,300. What we condemn.
The move by the trade agents and the DO was geared at sensitizing these business operators on the importance of respecting the homologated prices by the state. Unfortunately, in most of the stores visited by the team, it was noticed that the price homologated by the state wasn't respected, and they have been warned.
I want to call on these economic operators, these actors, to apply the law by selling their products on prices homologated by the government, without which we will have to apply sanctions according to the regulation in force.
While assuring the people of Mbanga about the respect of the prices put in place by the government, the divisional officer of Mbanga is telling his population to quickly report if they are sold items at a price not homologated by the government.
I want to also assure the population of Mbanga subdivision that the government will continue to take measures to control and maintain prices of basic necessities. And in this light, they are supposed to collaborate and cooperate with government agents by denouncing traders who sell basic necessities more than the prices put in place by the state.
The joint operation between the agents of the Divisional Delegation of Trade and the Divisional Office of Mbanga have been welcomed by the population, who felt they were being cheated until the outing by this team.
The divisional officer of Mbanga in the Mongo Division, Littoral Region of Cameroon, Nkefo Christian Tembo, fighting against illegal increase of prices of basic commodities above homologated prices at a time when there has been a generalized increase of prices of basic commodities on the market in Cameroon and elsewhere on the African continent. Now to Mamfe in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. The people took to the streets today protesting against cessationist activities after the district hospital in that part of the crisis-stricken southwest region was set ablaze or came under wild flames. And of course, a great section of the hospital was set ablaze, and we'll be bringing to you the images from Kumba in a short while, and of course the excerpt or interview of the mayor of Mamfe, Council Robertson Tabenchong, in this newscast. And time for us now to talk about corruption in the Republic of Cameroon and the high rate of corruption in Cameroon, the lack of transparency and accountability, and the slow democratic pace are all favored by the lack of open governance. According to experts and civil society actors, say Cameroon will not emerge if people steal money and continue to go without being punished, without accountability. For me, Armstrong Sander has more.
The current rates of corruption in Cameroon, the lack of accountability and transparency, the slow democratic pace are all fallout of the lack of open governance in the country. The COVID-19 transparency in Africa follow the money. Cameroon and co-civil society actors say it's high time the government of Cameroon had embraced open governance, converging in Yaoundé under a day to evaluate the strides made by different working groups. The actors say the efforts for a more transparent Cameroon are on the right direction.
The state is really implicated in all of these conversations, because we see that in each of the working groups they are present. We have the parliament, we have the government, we have the different ministries that are there, we have the civil society organizations. So we feel like we are on the right track, and hopefully, like I said, before the end of this year we shall and will be a member of the OGP.
An opportunity used to strategize on how to fast-track Cameroon's eligibility of becoming a member of the Open Governance Partnership.
If we network and reflect together on these common challenges, how it has been overcome in
this, they believe, will enable a strong economy and favors the emergence drive of Cameroon.
If governments are better governed, they can pay back loans. If governments are better governed, leakages will not be there. If governments are better governed, corruption index will fall. So open governance is a win-win for everybody.
One of their preoccupations at the moment is fast-tracking the funds and donations made by individuals and development partners of Cameroon for the fight against COVID-19.
Now we're going to talk health in this newscast, and we're talking about sickle cell anemia. 1 out of every 5 Cameroonians is said to be suffering from the sickle cell disease. And as activities begin to observe the World Sickle Cell Anemia Day come June 19, our reporter Anna Bila spoke with a sickle cell patient and compiled this report.
Sickle cell anemia is a hereditary disease caused by a defect in a gene. A person will be born of the sickle cell disease only if 2 genes are inherited, one from the mother and one from the father, to produce an SS or sick baby. Rahel Salamatu, 28 years old, is a sickle cell patient. She says living with the SS gene has been a traumatizing experience.
I never had a normal life like others. In school, I was going to school maybe once a while. During exam period, it's not an illness that really signals that this is coming or it will come tomorrow or after tomorrow. You can laugh today and tomorrow you're sick. They were always saying that it's witchcraft, that eating me maybe it's a wizard or whatsoever. So I've been brought into many native doctors.
Financially, she adds, managing the ailment is so demanding.
The family usually they're scared of coming in contact with me, thinking that I'll always be sick, always scared that I'll finish the morning or whatsoever. Others are even scared because it's a type of disease that you don't wait yourself. You will just be afraid at any time because it can also take your life at any single time. It affects the lungs, it affects all the system of the body. Shortage of blood, anemia, respiratory system and all the like. So it's not really easy.
Raye went further to say finding a stable job as a sickle cell patient has been a daunting task.
Maybe I can take, for example, in my job where I usually work, if I work for a month and 4 days are absent of work due to crisis, every boss or every employee will not accept that his worker he's here today and tomorrow is not there. So it will not be easy. The salary will be cut off. Maybe they will even sanction you from job. They will even say that you're lying because it's an illness that many people don't understand. I can laugh with you today and tomorrow you hear that I'm dead.
Medics advise couples to imperatively know their electrophoresis status before marriage or making children. AS couples are cautioned never to delve into procreation.
Like seriously, my wish is to sensibilize people to talk about the illness, to spread it around so that we should not more make the same mistake like our parents. At the end of the day, they will be the ones suffering, their children will be the ones suffering, their finances will be the ones suffering, the society will be the ones suffering. So it's something that is really, really critical. Leave love aside because this situation is not easy. Leave love aside. Make your electrophoresis test. Now it's free. It's our season, so it's free.
The 2022 edition of the World Sickle Cell Anemia Day comes under the theme Equity for All, a necessity for a collective effort in the fight against sickle cell anemia.
And to know more about sickle cell anemia, let's now listen to Dr. Catherine Binier. She is the head of the sickle cell unit at the Baptist Hospital in Bonaberi, Douala 4 subdivision. She spoke to Anabila.
Management of sickle cell crisis include lifestyle modifications. Well, the patients need to be properly hydrated, they need to be on balanced diet, they need to seek adequate medical care early, especially if they have signs of infections. They also have to avoid strenuous exercises and areas of low oxygen tension, like areas with heights. So prevention of crisis including taking their daily folic acid, medications like hydroxyurea for those who are having repeated crises, or those who stroke, or those who have vascular necrosis of the head of the femur. Also, there are very important vitamins and minerals that these patients they need to benefit from. We have things like zinc, which that depress immune systems. We have things like calcium, magnesium, vitamin C, vitamin D, due to the hypomineralization of their bones. The fact that their hemoglobin levels are very low, they could have shortage of blood where they'll need repeated transfusions. And you know, blood is never actually very safe. So it could expose them the risk of HIV, hepatitis B and C. So to avoid those things, they need to sleep under treated mosquito nets.
After the Manfe District Hospital was reduced into ashes by unidentified armed men. The people of that part of the crisis-stricken southwest region of Cameroon took to the streets today, protesting against atrocities being committed in their area within the context of the close to 6-year-long armed conflict affecting the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. And there we have images of the traditional authority of Limbe, who has been coronated, and a reporter in Limbe, Davidson Maimo, says that despite calls from some quarters, the traditional authority of Limbe has been enthroned. And of course we are talking about the paramount ruler of Limbe, Chief, who has been officially coronated 17 years after the demise of his late father, His Royal Majesty John Elufa Manga Williams, has been officially coronated in that part of the country. And of course he was coronated by a college of traditional authorities from the Fako division, including the paramount chief of Boya. The event took place at the jungle village in the Limbe Botanic Garden. Traditional display from the most dreaded Bakwere masquerade displayed was at the center of that event, and chiefs and funds from other parts of the country witnessed the traditional coronation, not leaving out the population of Limbe. The traditional coronation today paved the way for the official event, which will take place at the Limbe Centenary Stadium tomorrow, where the new paramount chief shall be officially presented to the administration and the general public at large. And of course we're talking about His Royal Majesty John Elufa Manga Williams, who has been coronated 17 years after the demise of his late father, Now take a listen to Chief Ekum Epupa of Dikolo village in Limbe and the paramount chief designated of Bojongo, Chief Vekima Efesua. Take a listen.
Well, and I think that we thank God for this successful coronation. I'm very happy. I never expected it to be but it has been more than what we expected. So we are very happy. The gods and the ancestors are very happy.
It's a very exciting day, and especially we showcase the culture of the Bakwere people. Some weeks back, we had coronation of the paramount chief of Boya. Today we have the coronation of the paramount chief of Limbe. Boya on the mountain, Limbe by the sea. So it's a display of our culture. The weather cooperated, everything went as planned. So we are extremely happy and excited that this has come. So we are happy to have a chief in Limbe.
His Royal Majesty John Elufa Manga Williams will be officially presented to the administration tomorrow during an official ceremony at the Limbe Centenary Stadium. And of course, we are now moving over to Mamfe in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. And I told you earlier that the people took to the streets protesting against atrocities being committed in their locality within the context of the armed conflict sweeping across Anglophone Cameroon. And this move is coming after the burning down of the Mamfe District Hospital. And of course the people were on the streets protesting against such happenings in their locality. And now we bring to you some images of the people of Mamfe in the southwest region, and I should indicate that that is one of the parts of the southwest region that have seriously suffered as a result of the armed conflict going on there. Several atrocities have been recorded in that part of the country, and the situation remains, however, unstable till today, despite all the efforts being made by the administration and other authorities, other stakeholders to calm down the tensions across the board in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. But there is relative peace in that part of the country, according to information streaming into our newsroom from the inhabitants and local authorities. And now I want us to listen to the mayor of Mamfe Municipality, Robertson Tabenchong, in this extra sent to us by our correspondent, Zaibwe. Definitely, we're going to bring to you the images and the interview of the mayor of Mamfe in subsequent news editions. Time for us to say goodbye and thank you for watching.